We have Ed Haslam, and he is an investigative researcher who's put out a very powerful book, Dr. Mary's Monkey. He also helped put together the book, Me and Lee Harvey Oswald. Very powerful information because it ties into the medical mafia, weaponized cancer viruses, and more. He's going to be in studio with us for the balance of the hour and a little bit into the next hour. And then we're going to have Jim Mars, who needs no introduction, talking about current events, the TSA, World War III, the mega bank takeover, the fact that world government's now naked, out in the open. But we're still conspiracy theorists. So we're going to be discussing that, and then former Congressman Bob Barr on the latest on the TSA, the police state, the NDAA, the federal courts announcing they'll give you felony charges for protesting, just the descent into tyranny that we are living in here in this once great republic. But people are waking up. You don't know what you've got until it's gone, and the population, by and large, those that are going to wake up are starting to wake up. Wow, all the news here is just insane. There's a London Telegraph article. There's also one in the Associated Press. Soldiers asked to disarm during Leon Panetta's speech in Afghanistan. And this is now happening at combat bases in Iraq as well. Top generals will not speak in front of armed troops. They won't even go on base areas around troops when they have guns. Let me explain this to you. The Secretary of Defense will not get around armed soldiers. You just heard me say that. Now, what does that tell you about this government? This is not our government. And what does it say about what they're doing in Afghanistan? We're about to get into medical tyranny here, but it's on record in Wired Magazine. It's on record in a lot of other publications. They just report it like they're talking about stock prices or something very dry, or what the weather's supposed to be tomorrow. Oh, by the way, we're doing mass experiments for a decade now, in Afghanistan mainly, in giving the troops aggression drugs and then amnesics after missions. And that's why you had a group of Delta Force, remember like 5 years ago, they came back from Afghanistan, and 4 guys in one day went crazy, and 3 of them killed their families. The other didn't, but then burned his house down, and the police pulled up. It was in the local paper that's outside Fort Bragg, and said that the Delta Force, well, this guy was a captain, was flopping around on the ground, foaming at the mouth. That's not PTSD. That's mind control going on. And you got this guy flipping out, as you know, over the weekend, and going out now. We learn it's 18 people he reportedly killed in just the town, going into houses, killing families, shooting children. Something's going on there, ladies and gentlemen, and I've reserved comment on it. But you see this. This is not PTSD. Something's going on. They have screwed some of these soldiers up so bad with the drugs they're giving them and things. And this is admitted, but details are classified. Again, oh, we're testing amnesics and we're testing aggression drugs on them. In fact, I've seen reports that out of a brigade of, say, 4,000 people in the Army over there, as many as 500 are being tested on. And I need to open the phones up sometime in the next week or so, and we don't have a bunch of guests lined up, just to have military call in about this. And I need to go back and pull all the articles on this and report on it, because, again, it's being reported on, but it's just like, oh, yeah, we're doing some testing on their minds. What's mind control? So now soldiers were asked to disarm during a speech by Leon Panetta, the American Defense Secretary, in a sign of growing concern over spats. Just spats, mass killing of seemingly random violence. Yeah, they're just killing, officers are killing people, troops are killing other troops, worse than Vietnam ever was. And the people are saying, well, I don't know why I did it. It's not like I got mad at the sergeant because he's been, doing, so I threw a hand grenade in there. No, we're not talking about just fragging. That's gone on in every army forever. This is just, I don't know why I started killing people. I don't know why I went in the barracks and started shooting people. I don't remember. So we're going to be talking about that. And speaking of mind control, we're going to go to our guest. And I'll intersperse, we got so many guests today, news throughout the transmission. Big Pharma pushes drug to cure racism. Now, remember, we had the report Monday where they're saying that they're going to start, well, they admit they want to put drugs in the water to make us not be aggressive and submit, but also to make us smaller. They're now saying the big bioethicist groups and are publishing it. And, of course, they say kill babies up to age 3. And but see, suddenly they know that we're aware of them. They're just trying to acclimate us to make it as insane as possible. But it's all over the news that, oh, we're going to start giving you a heart drug so you're not racist. Whatever that means, because some psychiatrists say so. And they want to put lithium in the water, too. But everything's okay. Yeah, they're drugging the troops. They're not going to tell you exactly what, but just... They don't let the brass get around them, though. Nothing's going on, though. Everything's fine. Just a precaution. And yeah, they're announcing they're going to secretly arrest citizens whenever they want. But, again, everything's... they're now trying to say vaccines are the law to take, even though there's no law. I've got a journal, Pediatrics, is recommending forced Gardasil for boys as well, so they don't get the cervical cancer. Did you catch that? Again, Big Pharma pushes drug to cure racism, and they're saying it's... I can say this until I get on the air. It's one of the few things I get stage fright with is weird drug names on air that I'm going to mess them up. Propranolol. And it's in the Journal of Psychopharmacology. And they're just saying, generally, we need to start drugging the public. Speaking of TSA News, we did a report at Infowars.com yesterday that got national attention via the DrudgeReport.com and other sites. That the big Orlando airport is looking at kicking the TSA out because it's killing tourism. There's different numbers. They vary widely between 20 billion, 40+ billion, but the latest numbers are over $40 billion in lost revenue to communities around this country and to this nation and to individuals, obviously, and to the parasitic government and tax money, $40 billion a year in lost tourism. But Goldman Sachs, that runs this country, just doesn't care. And you saw the headlines yesterday where one of their top managing directors came out and said, I'm quitting. I can't be part of a culture where we hate our customers and try to rip them off. In fact, I know you guys brought that back into me. I meant to cover that again. Or did you guys bring that back in? Because I don't see it here in my stack. Will you re-pull me the Goldman Sachs exec Smith that went, because I want to read his exact quotes. I don't want to just give people my take on it. Yeah, here it is. Maybe I'll ask Bob Barr about this too. So I'll get to that later after Bob Barr leaves us. Here's the type of news I see all the time, but it's from Cyber News Service, cnsnews.com. It's in Texas newspapers when this stuff happens every few weeks now. In fact, they've stopped pledging allegiance, not because they see it as fascistic, as some people do in South Texas. I was down there and saw in the papers last year, but because it's racist. And they've stopped in San Antonio. You get in trouble if you say USA, USA. By the way, if you're a new listener, I'm not joking. It'd be like if 10 years ago I went on the radio and said, yeah, the TSA they're putting in the airports, that's a federal power grab, they're going to start grabbing your genitals. No one would believe that. They'd be like, you know what, buddy, that's crazy. You've gone too far. Now it's like, yeah, what's the big deal? Oh, they go in the pants. Yeah, that's freedom. But what am I getting at? I grew up, born here in Texas, and grew up going down across the border to go sightsee, to go buy hats, sombreros, whatever, knives, bullwhips, just fun stuff you want when you're a kid, arrowheads, stuff like that. And I have been, in the last 5-6 years, down to a few of those places. It looks like a war zone. Once vibrant border towns on both sides are hellholes with everything boarded up. There are rocket attacks. There are newspaper people being killed on both sides. There is total fear. And our criminal government doesn't care because it's shipping the guns down to Mexico to further destabilize things. And the border region now is basically Mexico. And I see articles like this. Gun battle in Mexico forces U.S. to shut down 2 border crossings. Well, actually, when I was down by the border last year, I went down to South Padre. It was in the newspaper that there were gun battles, outside the high school football game. Well, it turned out it was actually in the parking lot. And there were Mexican troop helicopters over on the U.S. side. And again, this is just going on every day now. And there are lakes that border Mexico, and you see the cases where a husband and wife are out on jet skis, and Mexican drug cartels shoot and kill the husband, and the national media says, shut up, woman, your husband drowned. Because there's no violence down there. I mean, this is a perfect PSYOP example of where you got a better chance of dying. Look up the statistics. Scientific American even did a report on this 2 years ago. It's where we got a lot of our numbers. Champagne corks, bee stings, you know, I talk about this ad nauseum. Slipping and falling, I mean, are just many times more dangerous than terrorism. But you would believe it was the end of the world. No, it's just a federal power grab. That's all that's going on here. Meanwhile, it's over 40,000 dead now in the last, what, almost 4 years on the Mexico side. It's over 2,000 on our side. I mean, that's huge. That's war level. We were losing, what, 2,000 troops a year in Iraq. We're losing more than that, and it's not even on the radar. Because they don't want you to be scared of something real. They don't want you to be concerned about a real security threat, because they're going to use this to merge the entire continental security perimeter, as they said 4 years ago in the North American Union SPP documents. But here's CNS News. Gun battles in Mexico force U.S. to shut down 2 border crossings. Several gun battles between Mexican military forces and drug traffickers prompted U.S. authorities, same one shipping guns into Mexico, to temporarily shut down 2 international bridge crossings on the southwest border last week. The 2 bridges are located at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Port of Entry in Eagle Pass, Texas, connecting Eagle Pass, Texas to the Padres Negras in Mexico. And it just goes on. And this is all in the local newspapers. But this is not in the national news unless it's CNS News or Drudge Report or InfoWars. It's just not being discussed. It doesn't exist. Who has covered that impeachment proceedings, that legislation that if Obama continues to launch wars without congressional approval, that impeachment's going to be triggered? You'd think that'd be a top news story. It has never been anywhere but Infowars.com from day one, Drudge Report from day one, and then WorldNet Daily. And I every day I keep doing a search. I found some little gazette in a small town, some small town paper did a story on it. I mean, I'm checking with a Google search every newspaper in this country every day, going, come on, this has got to become a news item. We've got to force this out there. Now, we are forcing the story out there. It's been forced on a talk radio. It is being discussed. It is a big buzz in the military, big buzz in Congress. But it's like you got one world that's on the internet that knows this stuff's going on, and then you've got people who do not know anything. They don't know the branches of government. They don't know about the Constitution. And they think you're a weirdo if you want to know about this stuff. They think fashion or sports is paramount. And I know, as listeners, you know this. I know you know this before you ever heard my radio show. People have always marveled at how some people don't care or don't want to be involved. But those out there that do brush up against this show or other shows like it, you need to understand there's a reason our economy's falling apart. There's a reason corruption's at all-time highs. There's a reason we're losing our optimism. And it's because you can't have freedom if you do not have an informed population. And people are like, duh, no kidding, Sherlock. Look, I know that seems really simple. If you don't have liberty, you're not going to have prosperity. If you don't have liberty, then you do not have freedom. And you're like, yeah, liberty's freedom. Look, a lot of people don't get that. They're like, I don't care if the government gets rid of our rights. I have nothing to hide. Really, do you think, say, a German or a French, what was Gaul, 2,200 years ago, when the Romans were first starting to make forays into those areas to get slaves and gladiators and the rest of it? I mean, you think somebody fishing in, say, what's Gaul today or what's Austria today? Do you think somebody fishing when a bunch of Roman soldiers come marching over the hill, do you think they did anything wrong? Do you think they... No, people want to enslave you. They want to kill you and grab your women and haul them back over the hill and take them back to Rome. And that's the point. People need to get this through their heads. And I'm talking to new listeners here. Just because you don't have something to hide, that, oh, go ahead and take my privacy, go ahead and make me guilty until proven innocent, that idea is slavery. That idea is the end of our society. People say, oh, defend America. Oh, Alex, America's under attack. We got to give our rights up. What is America? I mean, America's not had a perfect history, but compared to others, it's been the benchmark in freedom. And that's what America is. It's a set of ideas and a culture and a system. And because we were so free, we developed the wealth. And so the powerful interests came in and took control because we were the biggest, baddest thing in town. Does he want to go now? Is he on the phone? What does he want? He can give us 30 minutes, right? Let's do bottom of the hour. Bottom of the hour. We're doing producing on the air, which is good. Hey, come on in here, Chris. Because that's an interesting point. Because he'd said 5 minutes, and would you call him back? And he's happy either way. Either way. I don't care. Well, what's his preference? What's his preference? Yeah, let's not have it all broken up with breaks. So he's happy at 33 after? Absolutely. Let's just get him on then. 33 after. Good job. I don't know. It just seems like common sense. I mean, why would police want to stomp on people's rights when those are your rights too? Why would bureaucrats get off on bossing people around? I mean, do you want to live in a country where people act like that? I mean, this is your country too. I mean, what did Fred call it? And I hate to use potty humor here, but it's the only thing that works. Don't pee in the pool, man. I mean, sometimes I go to public pools and stuff when I'm out of town or whatever, where I see a pool pull up. And you see everybody, you can tell when they're peeing in the pool. They got that look on their face. And they'll look at you when you get up, go to the bathroom inside, like you're kind of, ooh, look, he's a weirdo. He's going in there to pee. And I'm looking at you going, look, I know you're peeing in the pool. I watched you swim around for an hour, and you got that look on your face, that satisfied look. We are back. Bob Barr, former congressman who's been fighting the TSA, is going to join us, give us a report on where their operation is going. I mentioned this earlier whenever I had the one, the only Jim Mars on with us, but we were covering so many topics so fast we didn't spend a lot of time on it. We've got a big video coming out this afternoon that I want to go viral. You never know what's going to go viral. I shot like 4 videos over the weekend. Just when I get mad, I shoot a video and upload it to the YouTube channel. And all total, they have like 1.5 million views. One of them's got like 600 and something thousand by itself. Because I tend to get focused when I'm alone or just at home with the family. Because I get in the office and there's the crew and facts and things coming at me. And it's fine. It's just that I can really, more cogent, walking around in the woods with a little video camera. But we have a report we shot yesterday that Aaron stayed up most of the night putting together that's going to go up. I don't know the title of it yet, but it deals with the huge African invasion and all the proof of that. And I think Aaron's spitting it out right now. I wonder if he had time to add this. I wish, by spitting it out, the computer's now rendering it, which is one of the longest processes. But my problem is when we're so right so often, we don't ever toot our horn properly about how right we've been. Not so, oh, look, I'm smart, but so people understand we know what we're talking about. I've noticed there's a COINTELPRO operation, so I've tracked it to sock puppet accounts and other things on InfoWars, and it's similar deal on YouTube. I can go look at their channels and their history and search the names. And I've done it just to study how the globalists operate. They have both hired PR people, but then they also have actual just software systems that do it, and that's on record. But it's like Alex Jones, nothing he said ever came true. And they're like, he said there'd be war in Iran. It never happened. Well, if you think bombs going off every week, military bases getting blown up, and people being assassinated, and magnet bombs being thrown onto cars, and the media admitting that a proxy war is going on. I guess, I said a bunch of wars were coming in the Middle East about 2 years ago, and to be proxy wars from documents. They're like, that never happened. Really, you don't think Libya? You don't think Egypt? You don't think Syria? You don't call those wars through proxies? I told you the Arab Spring was staged because it was staged on record. Google, which I told you was run by the NSA, that's now admitted. The head of the NSA runs Google now, the former head. And so there's always this spin like, Alex, what came true? Well, world government, well, that it would be run by mega banks, well, that they would start openly saying they were going to drug the water. Well, that happened too, but what else? That they'd start using military on the streets, that they'd start saying the UN commanded the military, okay, that they'd start disarming the troops around officers, oh, that's happening, well, you were right there again, that the government brings in the drugs and was shipping the guns into Mexico 6 years ago, I told you, and would blame the Second Amendment for it, and then that all got leaked. Okay, you were right about that, but Alex is never right about anything. You think it was fun day one coming out and saying 9/11 was an inside job and losing 70+% of my affiliates because I wouldn't shut up? No, but it had to be done. And, it's one of my most valuable accomplishments is that I could care less about being popular or how much money I was making, that it was about, I'm going to tell the truth. That's what has value to me. And the fact that that idea is so rare is why we're in all this trouble. That is my most prized possession, is that I am uncompromising with the truth. And I have courage, and I'm not a coward. Because I understand you can't give in to evil. That's valuable. That's not chapters I look back at and think, oh man, I'd be a lot bigger. The system needs to pat me on the head and to make me think that I somehow have achieved something because it's there. Now giving me entree. No, I don't want that. But we called... I'll be honest, though. We did not call the county thing 100% right. It was a lot worse than what I said. We were dead on that it was a new boogeyman launch operation. Now the UN admits it. It's all public. 9 countries they want to invade in Africa with boogeymen in each one. Most of them haven't been seen in years. Perfect boogeymen who are probably dead so they can just blast everything. The UN's slaughtering people all over Uganda and Congo right now. Huge oil, everything found there. And here it is, Coney 2012 video. Screening met with anger in northern Uganda and all over the country. They've got minions of this group there trying to show them the film, and people are just completely blowing up because they know it is just abject, total bull and a pretext to invade Africa. Nothing to do with Joseph Kony. It's just there's a bad guy, get him. 5 Minutes of Hate, 1984. Here it is. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join prisonplanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.